What if everything you've been told about success was a lie? What if the life you were meant to want wasn't the one that would make you truly happy? My name is Elodie Clark, and I'm 28, living in the heart of New York City. A place where success is measured by the size of your paycheck and the people you know. I was raised in a family where the rules were simple. Marry well, marry rich, and live a life that everyone envies. The perfect life. But when I met Liam, a man with nothing but his dreams, everything changed. My family told me I was throwing my future away. They said I was making the biggest mistake of my life. I thought I could handle it. I thought love would be enough. Until they disowned me. It wasn't just their disappointment. It was their rejection. I was no longer a part of their world. My parents, my siblings, all turned their backs on me. I was cast aside for choosing a life they couldn't understand. For years, I lived with their judgment hanging over me. It was hard, but I believed in Liam and our dream. I thought we'd figure it out together. But what they didn't know, that decision-made choice to follow my heart was going to change everything. I wasn't just going to make it. I was going to crush it. And now, after everything I've built, they're begging me to come back. For months after I was cut off from my family, the silence was unbearable. Every holiday, every family gathering, they were all reminders of what I had lost. And I thought I could handle it, really. I did. But there were nights, especially when things got tough, when I would lie awake, wondering if I'd made the biggest mistake of my life. Liam would wake up in the middle of the night to find me staring at the ceiling. "Hey," he'd whisper, his voice soft but certain. "We're in this together, remember?" He always reminded me why I chose him in the first place. His unwavering belief in us, in me. He wasn't just a dreamer, he had something inside him that was undeniable. And slowly, I started to believe in it too. But even with Liam by my side, there were moments when I questioned whether the price of this love was worth it. Our lives weren't easy. There were bills piling up, dreams that felt just a little out of reach. But Liam never let me forget our goal. To build something that no one could take away from us. Something real. I remember one night, standing at our small kitchen counter, scraping together the last of the grocery money for the week. I had to admit, the pressure was getting to me. "You don't need to do this alone, Elodie," Liam said, his eyes locked on mine. "You're stronger than you think." That's when it hit me. The dream wasn't just about proving my family wrong. It was about proving to myself that I could build a life on my own terms. And the first step to doing that was taking a risk. I invested everything I had, every last penny, into an idea that had been swirling in my head for months. It wasn't just a business, it was a movement. A platform that would connect artists like Liam to the world, a space where creativity and commerce could coexist. And when I told Liam about it, his eyes lit up, like he knew this was it. "Let's make it happen," he said. "Together." We started small, from our living room, but I worked like it was my last chance. Day after day, I made calls, worked on branding, built partnerships with local galleries. It wasn't easy. There were setbacks, rejections, moments of doubt, but each failure only made me more determined. The breakthrough came when a well-known art critic caught wind of our platform. She wrote a glowing review, and suddenly, the world started paying attention. Orders flooded in, artists signed up, and soon enough, we were no longer struggling to make ends meet. We were thriving. As our platform grew, so did the weight of our success. I remember the first time I saw the number sit was more than I could have ever dreamed. But with the success came the pressure. Managing a growing business was no longer just about passion, it was about strategy, scaling, and making tough calls. I had to hire a team, develop new marketing strategies, and somehow find a balance between work and life. Liam stood by me every step of the way, but it wasn't without its challenges. Long hours, sleepless nights, and moments of self-doubt, especially when it came to balancing the demands of our business with the personal cost of success. But we were making it, and as the months passed, we began to hire a team, create partnerships with big-name brands, and expand our reach. The company was growing, and so was my confidence. I'd like to say there was one defining moment when it all came together, but there wasn't. Success isn't a single event. It's a collection of tiny decisions that, one after the other, Build a life you never thought you could have. Then, one day, I received a call from my mother. I didn't recognize the number at first, but when I heard her voice on the other end, everything inside me froze. "Elodie, we need to talk." The words came out slowly, as though she were unsure of how to proceed. "I'm sorry, honey. We didn't realize what we had until it was gone. Your father and we've been thinking about you every day. We were wrong. Please, come home." I didn't know how to respond. My heart raced. They had no idea what I had built, what I had sacrificed. They had no idea how far I'd come since they'd pushed me away. But what they didn't know was that I had already built something far bigger than they could ever understand. I was no longer the girl they could control, the daughter they could dictate. I was a woman who had made her own choices, fought her own battles, and now I was on top. And I wasn't coming back. It wasn't just about the business anymore. It was about the life I had created, the family I had built with Liam, and the community of people who believed in what we were doing. My family had underestimated me, and now they were begging for a second chance. But the real question was, did I need them anymore? In that moment, I realized something that had been building inside me for years. The only person who needed to believe in me was me. And the world was just beginning to see who Elodie Clark really was. As I sat at the head of my boardroom table, looking out the windows of my high-rise office, everything seemed surreal. Just a few years ago, I was scraping by with barely enough to pay rent. And now, here I was running a multi-million-dollar company. The weight of success wasn't something I had fully anticipated. The glamour, the perks, the recognition, it all felt empty at times. I loved what I'd built, but with every step forward, the responsibility grew heavier. I couldn't go to sleep without my phone buzzing with notifications, messages from my team, investors, clients, and partners. Every decision I made was scrutinized, analyzed, and dissected. The pressure to keep performing, to keep succeeding, was constant. But the hardest part wasn't the pressure from work, it was the growing distance between me and Liam. At first, we were inseparable. He was the first person I turned to after every victory and every setback. But as the business grew, so did the demands on my time. Late nights at the office became routine. Weekends that we once spent together became filled with board meetings and endless phone calls. We barely had time for each other anymore. I began to wonder if I had made a mistake. Was this success worth the price? Liam never complained. He supported me through it all. But I saw it in his eyes, the same sadness that had once been a part of me. He missed me, and I missed him too. We were living in the same house, but we were becoming strangers. It was during one of those late nights when I realized the magnitude of what was happening. I was alone in my office, staring at the financial reports, feeling numb. My phone buzzed with another message from my mother. "Elodie, we're sorry. We've missed you. We want to make things right." I stared at the screen for a moment before closing the message. The truth hit me hard. I had everything I ever wanted, yet I felt emptier than ever. I had built this empire, but I'd lost the most important thing in the process, the people I loved. Just as I was beginning to question everything, a new opportunity arose. One of the top art galleries in the city reached out, asking us to collaborate on a huge project that would elevate our platform to international status. It was exactly the kind of breakthrough we needed. But there was a catch. I had to fly to Europe to meet with the gallery's board. I didn't want to go, not because the project didn't excite me, but because it meant more time away from Liam. But I knew I couldn't pass this up, it was too important for the company. So, I left. While I was in Europe, I kept getting messages from Liam. He was supportive, but his words lacked the spark they once had. I tried to tell myself it was just stress from the business. But deep down, I knew it was more than that. When I returned to New York, I walked into the apartment to find him gone. There was a note on the kitchen counter. "I can't keep doing this, Elodie. I love you, but I need to find myself again. I hope you understand." My heart shattered. I had known this moment was coming, but I wasn't prepared for the emptiness that followed. I had worked so hard to build everything except the one thing that really mattered. The next few weeks were a blur. I threw myself into work, hoping to numb the pain. I started making bigger moves, acquiring smaller companies, expanding our platform globally. My name was being recognized everywhere, but it didn't fill the void in my heart. One evening, after closing a major deal, I returned to my apartment to find a familiar face waiting for me in the living room. It was my mother. I was shocked. The last time I saw her, she had begged me to come back, but I had refused. I never thought she would show up in person. "I'm sorry, Elodie," she said, her voice quiet but sincere. "I never understood what you were doing. But now I see how hard you've worked. I see the woman you've become, and I'm proud of you." I couldn't believe it. For the first time, my mother wasn't just apologizing for the past, she was acknowledging how far I had come. "I don't need your approval, Mom," I replied, my voice steady but emotional. "But I need you to understand that I did this for me. I had to do it for me." She nodded slowly. "I understand now. You've built something incredible, Elodie. You've proven everyone wrong." I didn't go to work the next day. I stayed home, allowing myself a moment of peace, something I hadn't allowed myself in years. The weight of success had been suffocating, but now I realized it was time to rebuild not just my business, but my life. I reached out to Liam. He was living in a small studio apartment, working on his art again. When I saw him, I could tell he had found his peace. I apologized. I apologized for losing sight of what really mattered him, us, our dreams together. It wasn't easy, but we slowly began to reconnect, taking things one step at a time. Our love wasn't perfect, but it was real, and that was all that mattered. I had learned the hardest lesson of all. Success wasn't just about money or accolades, it was about the people who stood by you, the ones who truly mattered. Months passed since Liam and I started rebuilding what we had lost. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but it was rooted in honesty, patience, and a deeper understanding of what mattered most. I had finally found a balance between my empire and my personal life. But little did I know, the biggest challenge was still ahead of me. One chilly autumn morning, my phone buzzed with a notification that made my heart skip a beat. It was an email from my family's lawyer. "Elodie Clark, due to recent developments, we invite you to reconsider your position in the family business and assets. The family is willing to negotiate terms of your return." I sat frozen, memories flooding back the nights they disowned me, the years of silence, the cold rejection. After everything, they were finally coming back, but not out of genuine remorse. They wanted a piece of what I had built. That moment was a turning point. I wasn't the powerless girl they once dismissed. I was now in control. Weeks later, I sat across from my parents in the same room where they once told me I was a mistake. The air was thick with unspoken words and long-held grudges. "My daughter," my father began, his voice tight, "we were wrong to push you away. What you've accomplished, it's beyond anything we imagined." My mother nodded, tears glistening in her eyes. "We want to make things right, Elodie. We want you back not just for the business, but for us." I looked at them, seeing not just regret, but the fear of losing what they once took for granted. I smiled, but it wasn't the smile of the girl who once begged for their love. This was a smile of someone who had risen from the ashes. "I'm here," I said calmly, "but things have changed. I'm not the same girl you turned your backs on. I'm here on my terms, and if I'm coming back, it's because I want to, because I see value in us again. Not because I need approval or a place to belong." Over the next few months, the family dynamics shifted dramatically. I brought fresh ideas and energy into the family business, steering it into new markets and modernizing operations. My parents, once so rigid, began to listen. My siblings, who had once looked down on me, started to respect my vision. But this wasn't just about business. It was about rewriting the story. For so long, I had been defined by their expectations and judgments. Now, I was defining myself by my choices, my successes, and the love I had fought to keep. The power balance had shifted. No longer was I the outsider. I was the leader. Just when I thought I had taken control of everything, an unexpected ally appeared: my estranged sister, Mia. She approached me one afternoon with a hesitant smile. "Elodie, I've made mistakes too. I judged you unfairly, and I want to help. Let's work together." not against each other. Her words surprised me. Mia had always been the one who sided with our parents, the one who seemed to embody the family's ideals. But now, she was ready to change. Together, we started building bridges where there had been walls. Our teamwork brought new opportunities and strengthened both the family business and our bond. The real victory wasn't the money, the business growth, or even the family reconciliation. It was the transformation of myself, of my family, and of our future. Standing on the stage at a major industry conference, I looked out at the crowd and spoke from the heart. Success isn't just about wealth or status. It's about resilience, love, and the courage to follow your own path. My journey was never easy, but it made me who I am today, and I'm just getting started. The applause was thunderous. For the first time in my life, I felt truly seen, truly respected, not just as a businesswoman, but as a person who refused to be defined by anyone else's limits. Years had passed since that pivotal family meeting. The business had flourished beyond my wildest dreams, and the bridges I'd built within my family grew stronger every day. But more importantly, I had built something no one could take away, a life of my own design. Liam and I had grown together, not just as partners in love, but as partners in life and business. We had learned to balance ambition with patience, success with compassion. Our journey wasn't perfect, but it was ours. One afternoon, as I walked through the bustling halls of our headquarters, a young woman approached me with nervous excitement. "Miss Clark, I just wanted to say thank you," she said, eyes shining. "You inspired me to chase my own dreams, even when everyone told me I couldn't." Her words struck a chord deep inside me. That was the real power of what I'd built, not just wealth or success, but a legacy of courage and resilience. That evening, I sat down with Liam and Miami family, in every sense of the word. We toasted not just to our successes, but to the journey that had brought us here. "We've come so far," I said, "but this is just the beginning. There are so many more dreams to chase, battles to fight, and lives to touch." Because success isn't just a destination, it's a journey, a constant evolution. As the sun set over the city skyline, I felt a profound sense of peace. The girl who once feared rejection and failure had become a woman who embraced both. The door was no longer closed for me, or for anyone who dared to step through. And as for my family, we were no longer defined by the past. We were building a future together. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Your worth isn't determined by where you come from or who doubts you. It's defined by the courage to follow your heart, the strength to overcome obstacles, and the power to rewrite your own story. My name is Elodie Clark, and this is just the beginning of my legacy. If Elodie's story inspired you, if you believe in fighting for your dreams, no matter the odds, hit that like button to show your support for everyone who's ever been told they can't make it. Share this video with friends or family who need a reminder that success is about courage, resilience, and staying true to yourself. And if you want to hear more powerful stories of people who defied expectations and built their own legacies, subscribe now and turn on the notification bell because the journey is just getting started. Thank you so much for watching and believing in the power of your own story. Remember, your path is yours to create, and no one can define. Stay strong, stay brave, and I'll see you in the next story.